And still on the International Youth Day, the United Nations office in Nigeria says efforts are ongoing to establish a youth office to further engage and provide access for young people, as well as finding solutions to the many challenges they face. This assurance was given at the UN Interagency and Office of the Resident and Humanitarian Coordinator when he met with different youth groups in Abuja. Moyo Thomas reports.
This 22nd commemoration of the International Youth Day by the United Nations, as the theme indicates, is to ensure collaboration and solidarity across all ages and generations, especially if the world is to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals.
This year's theme, Intergenerational Solidarity, Creating a World for All Ages, reminds us of a basic truth. We need people of all ages, young and old alike, to join forces to build a better world for all.
The United Nations Resident Coordinator had a Youth Open Door Forum, where selected Nigerian youth and youth groups opened up on seeming challenges they daily have to contend with. Concerns were raised on the quality and inclusiveness of education, youth employment, workplace harassment, and other GBV and health issues.
Agreeing for the next couple of years a set of transformative initiatives. We currently have defined 12 or so that will help this country shift the needle, move more of the 18 million children out of school into school, move the 100 million people living below the poverty line above the poverty line.
In the context of the UN, but also to try to ensure that we can collaborate with government to create those spaces where young people can be engaged more on a regular basis. But we recognize that we're not doing enough, and we will continue to have discussion with you.
I think the key word here is partnerships, because there is no way that any individual, any agency, or even any government will be able to solve this in one moment.
The UN Resident Coordinator further says integrating youth in decision-making is key to economic development. This is especially important as over 60% of Nigeria's population falls within the youth category.
So I think it's good practice for any government around the world to include all age ranges of eligible people, of course. When you're above 18 and you can vote, you should have a seat at the table.
Fixing the economy remains the best solutions to addressing the numerous challenges and insecurity in the country. The United Nations promises actions will be taken on issues the youth brought to its notice, and engagements with them, such as this, will hold at least twice a year. Moyo Thomas, TVC News, Abuja.
For more on the significance of this day in world history, let's talk to UNICEF Chief of Maiduguri Field Office, Funuyen, who joins us live on the news at 10. I'd like us to begin with intergenerational solidarity, which is the theme for this year's observance. How wide do you think the gap is between the older and younger generation, particularly in Nigeria, where you have had the privilege to observe things firsthand?
Yes, thank you very much, and happy International Youth Day to you. In fact, as mentioned before, the theme of 2022 is really the intergenerational solidarity. We know that there is a huge, large youth population, that's to say those under 30 years of age. Over 60%, in fact, of people are under the age of 30 here in Nigeria. We also have generations that have had life experience, who have a lot of knowledge and experience, and yet we're not harnessing that experience and also bringing the young people together and to learn from each other. I think in order for us to really move the agenda and to really achieve the Sustainable Development Goals, we need to be able to harness all of those skills, those knowledge, those experience of different generations. And we need to leverage those strengths in order to really achieve those development goals. For us here at UNICEF, of course, we're very much working very closely with young people, with children and young people. And we want to make sure that for this particular day and every day moving forward, of course, we want to make sure that we celebrate their voices. We want to celebrate their ideas, the solutions that they come up with, and their they have a lot of ideas and solutions, but they need the platforms, they need the opportunities in order to voice this. At UNICEF, we want to make sure that we have a platform to engage with children so that we're not only the experts telling them how to live their lives, but rather we know that they have a lot of their own ideas, and we want to create opportunities and platforms for them to come forward. And in our own UNICEF programming, we want to make sure that those ideas are moved forward. So it's not about just listening and understanding them, but also making sure that those ideas materialize into practical solutions to their lives.
You identify to be the biggest factors, the biggest challenges to these young people you have worked with in Maiduguri, and how bright are their chances to come out flying, as you have suggested?
Yes, here in the northeast of Nigeria, we are facing some challenges. There are over 10 million children who are out of school across the country, and the majority of those children are right here in the northeast. We know that, for example, displaced children, returnees, those children are particularly vulnerable. Also, girls are very vulnerable. Children with disabilities are vulnerable. So we want to make sure that where we're able to have children already in school, we want to make sure that the quality of that education is strong. We want them to have a quality education so that they can not only enroll, but also transition from one grade to another until they complete a full cycle of quality education. But we also do know that those children who are displaced or returnees, their education, either they have not had an education or their educations are limited or disrupted. So we also want to create, and we have created platforms and alternative pathways to education for those children, working very closely together with the government of Nigeria. But children, not only do they need education, but they also need skills. And that's something that we're also working closely with our partners, with the government, to have vocational skills training for children who are in school, but also for those who are out of school or who are using alternative pathway to getting their education. So there are many ideas we have here, and we are implementing them together with our government and our implementing partners. And I think we are making some roadway. Education remains a strong investment. If we make that investment today, we have the opportunity to empower children, to educate children, to give them the opportunity for skills so that they can gain employment. And that is a problem right now as well, that we have high unemployment rate, particularly for young people and women across Nigeria. So education is the solution for that, but it is not a magic bullet that can happen overnight. It needs to be sustained. And we also need to make sure that we are working with all key stakeholders. What is also very important is that we develop policies, and we also make sure that we implement those policies to have an enabling environment for young people to be able to be educated, to learn the skills, and also to share with their ideas with society and with other generations across Nigeria.
And we're counting on that collaboration that UNICEF is bringing, as well as all other agencies working hand in hand with the government to ensure that this becomes a reality. Fon Nguyen is the UNICEF Chief Maiduguri Field Office of UNICEF. Thank you so much for finding time to join us tonight.
Thank you very much.